Now that we the people are awakening to the massive oppression towards the common person by a select group of multinational conglomerates as well as big business executives that are creating overwhelming, unelected monopolies, we must now focus on the root cause of all earthly evil as well as ways to counter it, the love and obsession for money and power. Together, we must put an end to lobbying for these monopolies domestically and abroad. We must also start progressing time, money, and research into the fields of safe, long-term energy production as well as space exploration. These monopolies are the largest crime syndicates in the world that invest huge amounts of money into our governments and politicians in return for influences on certain law avoidance or creation. Remember that our ultimate destiny as God's creation, whether you have acquired faith in your life or not, is to collectively expand our species throughout the universe. Look at how far we have come already. We aren't far from Tomorrowland, as it was famously quoted in the visions of Walt Disney in the mid-50s. All we have to do is fund the proper organizations and train the next generations of rocket, propulsion, and space engineers as well as scientists. For centuries, certain families, groups, and individuals have developed a small, mostly secretive entity known as the globalists that are suppressing our human nature, intelligence, health, and destiny in every way possible, putting the brakes on our vast progression. In the 14th century, I believe an Italian poet and political theorist named Dante Alighieri described hell in the best way possible through the first part of his epic poem, Divine Comedy. He described this as the realm of those who have rejected spiritual values by yielding to bestial appetites or violence, or by perverting their human intellect to fraud or malice against their fellowmen. Notice the last part of this quote is exactly what the mainstream media, social media, pop culture, Hollywood, the latest trends, and all of the other known globalist-funded and or operated organizations and systems are doing to our society, perverting our human intellect to fraud or malice, which basically means lying and deceiving the people, putting them on the wrong path to success, taking advantage of their intellectual ability. Also recognize and remember all of the false flag operations perpetrated by corrupt factions of our government in order to push certain agendas. If this plague of deception and disinformation isn't exposed on a massive scale soon, it will likely lead to our enslavement and ultimate oppression if we let it stand long enough. Which is why I'm putting my neck on the line in order to expose these devilish anti-human globalists and their agenda. As soon as the majority of the population are awake and speaking out, it's over for them. Truth will always prevail. Evil never wins. And to all of you who believe everything I've just said is a joke or a lie, do some research and think for yourself. To all those who know the truth, yet still look on and do nothing, you are a coward. To the third wave feminist, your movement is irrelevant in a modern sense. If you truly want to fight for women's right to safety and security, then expose the very groups that are oppressing women today, such as radical Islam. Stop blaming the common man. To those who race bait and think someone who has a different political view or belief are racist without any justification or proof, or that cops should be killed and phased out because of a few bad individuals. Remember that the average cop is not out to get black people or any other group for that matter. They're always there for you when you need them the most. They never question your race, religion, or political view before they render aid or save your life. It's not about the color of your skin, but rather the content of your character. Remember that. One thing that separates us from the animals is our law and order. Don't let this ignorant gangster culture created by MTV back in the 80s and 90s that corrupted true, meaningful hip-hop and rap and replaced it with this shoot 'em up, party all the time, use and sell drugs, have sex with as many people possible, and adopt the inner city hood slang that is meant to dumb us down and ultimately ruin the future. It was first adopted so that inner city African American community members would adopt that style of life, and cops would be forced to go after and incarcerate them for breaking the law. Now it is being adopted by children, teenagers, as well as adults worldwide. Music and popular culture used to empower people and teach you something meaningful. Now it's being used as a cultural weapon. Yes, there is still music being made today with substance and meaning, but notice, the songs and artists either get threatened, killed, or don't get sponsored by big music corporations, which means they get thrown into the underground category and never get heard by most of the population. Back to the subject of law enforcement. If a police officer does something wrong or unjust, go after the individual, not the entire organization. Now to those who have a disdain and hatred for humanity and hope that one day we destroy ourselves, just know that you are disgusting and probably need mental help. Yeah, humanity has plenty of flaws and problems, but the common person has a great heart and wants to see their fellow man succeed, not perish. Don't defecate hypothetically on your ancestors who built all these amazing things you take advantage of on a daily basis, and those brave souls who fought for your freedom. Remember that freedom is never free. Also, most of your parents only want the best for you. Maybe you just don't understand that love yet. I know in my personal experience, the one person who changed my life forever in a fantastic way and brings out the best in me every single day is the love of my life, my soulmate. It's not like the normal relationship. You'll know you found the one once you share that spiritual connection. Remember that all children deserve a future and a chance to succeed and experience life. Parents should always want a better future for their children. Now you do the same for yours and fellow man if you want everything good that we have been promised in this world. It's up to us. Finally, to all those who want to bring in communism or socialism into this country, do your research and learn history. We live in the bastion of freedom and multiculturalism. No, we are not perfect by any means, but we must reform and improve our democracy and free trade capitalism day by day, rather than get rid of it completely. Look at how tyrannical and oppressive communism and socialism become over time. Think about how many millions of people have been killed over the last century in that form of government. Also, look at Venezuela, a perfect modern-day example. They switched to socialism in 2008 with the United Socialist Party of Venezuela. Now, 9 years later, consumer prices have jumped 800%. Almost 75% of the population lost an average of 19 pounds due to malnutrition. The country is in mass chaos. Imagine what would happen here in this country with approximately 290 million more civilians than Venezuela. Starting to see the problem here? All I ask is that everyone listening to this, do your best to counter the evil in this world. Don't sit back and hope it all blows over, because then you become part of the problem. Thank you for listening, and God bless.